The 2025 NFL season is just about underway, and it feels like this is not going to be one of those type of seasons the Carolina Panthers have had the last couple years, as the excitement is starting to build with year 3 of Bryce Young, year 2 of this Dan Morgan and Dave Canales system, year 1 of rookie T-Mac and this special rookie class, and all the new additions to make this defense go from worst to first in 2025. Fellas, this season is about to be special. Training camps in 2 days. Let's head into this breakdown before one of the most exciting seasons we're going to be seeing in a long time from this fan base. We have year 3 for Bryce Young, year 2 of Dave Canales and Dan Morgan's regime, T-Mac's rookie season, and Derek Brown is officially back from his injury. We get all that back in 2 days with Panthers training camp. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm super excited right now to make this video. This is my final video before training camp, before I head into every single day breakdown on Monday all the way on to preseason, man. It's going to be a mix of my biggest storylines about position groups, position battles, and more. So if you guys are new, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, because all training camp long, I'm going to be giving y'all consistent content every single day. If you guys are new, do that for me. And with that being said, let's head right into these storylines for camp. Let's head into the first biggest storyline for me. It's going to be all over the place. I'm going to have some where it's going to be just position based. It's going to be specific battles. It's just going to be all over the place, all video, but just stick with me. The first one, which is definitely the most intriguing storyline for me personally, is who is going to emerge as the starting edge tandem to start the season. And we have no idea. Obviously, we know we got Nick Scorin and Princely as our 2 rookies. We drafted him in the 2nd and 3rd round. It's interesting because Nick Scorin has not signed his contract yet, and camp starts in 2 days. So it's going to be interesting to see if he holds out. If he's not, we haven't really heard anything about him wanting to hold out at all. So maybe there's a chance that he will still be in camp for sure, because, again, he's our 2nd round pick. He's going to have an opportunity to start at the end of the day, right? We have him. We have Princely, of course, who I think has a high ceiling as a pass rusher in this room right now. But right now, I think DJ Wanham is our best pass rusher right now, and that's what we need. If I were to predict right now, heading into camp, I think DJ Wanham he's a lock to start for me right now. Of course, that could change by the end of camp. Princely and Nick could do their thing in camp, and those 2 could be the starters as rookies to start week 1 against the Jaguars. Or Pat Jones. He's our 4th guy right now, in my opinion. Maybe he could go, and it could be him and DJ Wanham, or it could be DJ Wanham and Nick Scorin. It just depends on how training camp shapes out. But that's why this is my biggest storyline for camp as we head into it, is because this position needs to be good. Last year was not good. We brought Jadeveon Clowney on. Obviously, that did not work out. DJ Wanham, when he played last year towards the end of the year and got time, he showed his ability to rush the passer. And that's why I think he right now has the edge to start at least at 1 or 2. It doesn't matter if you think he's the best one. It doesn't matter. I think right now he's probably going to be a starter as we head into camp. But that's why it's interesting, because it's not a lock. No one is a lock right now to start. You have the upside with Princely and Nick Scorin, which is why I would not be shocked if Dave Canales by the end of camp decides to lean them to start week 1. But right now, that's what I would say is my biggest storyline. I'm going to be watching that the most, because I want some good pass rush this year, because last year we did not get it on defense. I want some good pass rush this year. I'm going to be watching that position heavily, because the interior is elite. It's elite with Derek Brown, Tershawn Wharton, Bobby Brown, and Ashawn. That's going to be a very good position if we can stay healthy all year long. If we can get good pass rush, the defense line is going to be very good this year. But I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned about it. Consistent pass rush. So that's why it's my biggest storyline heading into camp, is who's going to emerge as the starting duo tandem at the edge position. My second biggest storyline is the center position between Austin Corbett and Cade Mays. Obviously, Austin Corbett has been our starter, but he's been dealing with injury the last 3 years, and there's a little concern about that. The injuries that he's been suffering is a lot of concern upon the staff. We brought him back this offseason. It was, talks about we were going to let him go because it was kind of getting a lot, the injuries, and just start Cade Mays. But we brought him back because we thought the talent is still there. Obviously, at center, we know the consistency at center is still there. So why not bring him back for another opportunity to get that starting spot back? But those injuries are still a concern. Cade Mays, on the other hand, we had him. We cut him. The Giants got him last year in the offseason. Then we brought him back from their practice squad. So he's back with the opportunity to become the starting center. And he's a younger player heading into year 4 as a center. So this is the biggest battle, I think, in terms of the closest battle. I think this and the 5th storyline I'm going to talk about, these are the 2 battles I'm talking about as the biggest ones in terms of like just 1-2. It's only 2 players. Obviously, the edge position, it's 4 players that's going to be rotating, deciding who's going to be starting. But there's 2 storylines on here that's going to be specifically actual position battles between two players. Okay, so that means all training camp is going to be a neck and neck battle between two guys, not 3, 4 guys, it's two guys. And this is one of them. I'm very excited because I think Austin Corbett, obviously, he's talented. He's just injured prone. Cade Mays, just a young player. He's talented there, and he has the youth factor, man. And you always want to go with the youth. If you have a guy that's injured all the time, he's older, you're going to want to lean a guy that's younger and has upside, and that's what Cade Mays has. But he doesn't have, I think, this season. I don't think he has the upside in terms of what he can do in a one full season this year, just because of the fact that he hasn't really been a starting player his first 3 years in the NFL, right? He has not been. Obviously, he's going to have a chance to start because he's not a bad player at all. But obviously, Austin Corbett is the better player right now if he's healthy. But that's the concern is the health issue, if that's going to make him take a step back in the aspect of being a center. So that's my second biggest storyline for us as we head into camp in 2 days is the center position. Who's going to start at center for us to start the season? And I'm very excited to see. It's going to go throughout, I think, preseason 2, unless an injury happens, obviously. But I think this position battle is going to go on for until week 1, until we hit Jacksonville in week 1. Okay, the third storyline for me as we head into camp is how does the depth shake out in the corner room? And this is interesting because obviously a lot of people don't think about this that much because you have J.C. Horn, you have Mike Jackson, you have Shaw Smith-Wade. So in the back of your mind, you're like, you're good, right? You're good at corner, but the depth for me is very concerning as you look at it because after those three, you have guys that really have not played football that much. You have Shamar, Bartholomew, obviously there, played a little bit last year towards the end of the season for us as we had injuries and everything. But you have 3 corners, and he's your 4th corner right now. Okay, like think about that. Sometimes you have 4 receiver sets. Sometimes you're going to have to play 4 guys. Of course, you can bring Trayvon Moore there in the slot if you need an extra slot guy. He's very versatile. You can put him in the slot. You can put Lathan Ransom in the slot if you really want to. But you would preferably want to play an actual corner there at the slot instead. The next guy for me is MJ Devonshire. Young player. He's only 24. Got cut by the Raiders, but he's here now and he's young, as I stated, and one of my favorite players to watch right now in camp in terms of specific players who are unknown in terms of the fan base as a whole is him because he's a guy that can make the roster for sure, I think, in terms of just having depth. And you need 5 corners. So he's a legit possibility to make the roster. I think Shamar's going to make it just because of the familiarity he has from playing last year. But then who's going to be the 5th guy? You have MJ Devonshire and you also have a Caleb Evans as well. It's just you have nothing after those 3 guys in terms of consistency and actual experience at corner. And if, let's say, Shaw goes down, for example, what are you going to do there in the slot, right? Let's say Mike Jackson goes down. You're going to have to rely on Shamar. You're going to have to rely on MJ, players that not this entire fan base knows about week to week if an injury happens. So that's going to be a big thing for me when I'm watching camp is how does the depth shake out? Is there going to be a certain player that no one knows about, like an MJ Devonshire, who comes out and makes a big impact right away in camp and says, okay, we can feel comfortable now about corner, right? Because that's big. Corner's a big position. This is one of the positions that I'm going to be looking at heavily in camp because of that reason. The depth is just not there right now. Number 4, as we're breezing through this, rookies making an early impact. Okay, obviously this is every single season. Whenever you after the draft, you're excited about seeing the rookies. Training camp's the first really opportunity. Of course, you have OTAs and mandatory mini camps. Those are really the first times you can see players, but you're not really doing impact 7-on-7s. You're not doing anything really special. Training camp and preseason is the first opportunity for you to see these rookies. And we had a very good rookie class, in my opinion. Of course, you had T-Mac. I'm very excited to see Bryce's and T-Mac's connection here in camp because that's going to get us all excited even more about this upcoming season if they can have a very good connection in camp. But that's a given. I don't want to touch on, Tedero McMillan because we know that's a big one that we're all going to be looking at in camp. Obviously, the pass rushers that I mentioned with Nick Scoren and Princely, assuming Nick Scoren is out there during training camp to start. But obviously, we're going to be looking at Jimmy Horn, Mitchell Evans, those Lathan Ransom, those later round picks who have a chance to make an impact. Safety's not a foregone conclusion. I think you have your starters with Damani and Trayvon Moore unless you bring somebody in for free safety, which is kind of looking dimmer by the day. But Lathan Ransom can make an impact. He's a very versatile player. He's a very good tackler. So you can do stuff there. And I'm very excited to see his athleticism in camp, obviously. Mitchell Evans, obviously, I think JT's tight end 1. I think he's going to have a great season this year. But Mitchell Evans is obviously going to be back there trying to make an impact and make his presence known in the tight end room because the tight end room is not solidified right now. It's really not. So he's a big name as well. And Jimmy Horn, of course, obviously, I think he's locked to make the roster because he's a different type of skill set. You can't just cut a guy like that. I know he's a rookie, but you can't cut a guy like that has that skill set. No one in our room has that right now, right? Of the speed, just the ability to have the top end speed that he does have. I just don't see a way that he gets cut, but it's going to be very interesting to see the impact that he can make at receiver in camp and preseason at the receiver position. Okay, I'm making a U-turn. I'm going to talk about Jaylen Coker because oh boy, I've been on Jaylen Coker for a while now. All off season, the last couple weeks, I've been talking about Jaylen Coker like he's the best player on this team because I'm sick and tired of this fan base making it seem like he's not going to make the roster. He should be on the bubble to not make the roster. It's just stupid, okay? He's a lock to make the roster because of what he did last year as an undrafted free agent. I'm sorry to tell you guys he's better than Xavier Legette right now, okay? Based on what they did last year and what they're doing right now, he's a better receiver than XL right now. Could that change by the end of the year? Yes. But do I think it's going to change by the end of the year? No. I think he's going to be a top 2 receiver on this team by the end of the year. I'm just tired of this fan base, a lot of people making it seem like he's on the bubble and he's in competition to make the roster with Hunter Renfrow and David Moore. Like, come on, man. He is a better player than those guys right now and has a very high ceiling as a receiver. He proved it last year. Almost had 500 yards in 11 games as an undrafted rookie and only played 50% of the snaps. I mean, come on. Let's get our heads straight and let's realize this guy's the real deal because when it happens and he becomes a top 2 receiver on the team, because I bet it will happen, okay? Because obviously you have T-Mac. He will be the number 1 at the end of the year, I think. He's 6'4". He's on the outside. He's going to be that big target for Bryce. He's going to be number 1 for us, I think. Number 2, you could say Adam Thielen, but he's older, and I don't think he's going to have the volume as much anymore. He's just going to be a third down weapon, quick route weapon, nothing crazy. Jaylen Coker is going to be a legit player. If he gets the opportunities that he did last year, plus some, he's going to make an impact because you saw last year the opportunities he had as an undrafted rookie, he made the most of them. What makes people not believe in him as a receiver? I understand the hype around this room and you have so many guys finally. So it's kind of like make someone the odd man out, but he is not my odd man out. He is still above XL for me and Adam Thielen in terms of the potential that he has, right? Of course, people are going to argue with that. Oh, XL has higher potential because of his athleticism, sure, but I don't care. What he did last year, him getting the disrespect right now doesn't make any sense. It's not adding up, but that's my 4th one or my 5th one. Sorry, I kind of had to make a U-turn, so I'm doing 6. But that's my 5th one is Jaylen Coker. And I'm going to be watching him just for bragging rights. If he makes any sort of play in camp, it could be a drag route and he gets like 5 yards. I'm going to be putting that on Twitter saying, look, this is why he's elite. It's just going to happen. Watch out for it. Last but not least, the kicker position. This is going to be the most interesting kicker battle we've seen in a long time. Okay, because you have 2 guys that could legit, they're neck and neck. Just like the center position, this position is neck and neck. There's not anybody that we're going into it saying they have the edge, It's going to be 50-50, right? It's going to be 50-50. One day, one of them is going to be winning. The next day, the next player is going to be winning. Obviously, you have Matthew Wright, who has been in the league for 4 years. And since he's been in the league for 4 years, he's made 55 out of 63 attempts of field goals. It's pretty good. And then you have Ryan Fitzgerald, the rookie out of Florida State. He kicked 58 for 73. Obviously, again, this is when you factor in the youth. Obviously, Ryan Fitzgerald is a very good kicker out of college. Made 58 kicks out of 73. That's not a bad percentage by any means. But Matthew Wright right now is probably the better player this year. Kicker's not one of the positions that you think about long-term, really. It's really a year-to-year thing. So if you really think Matthew Wright's going to give you a lot this year and could give you even some next year as well, maybe you lean him just because of the fact that Ryan Fitzgerald is an unknown. He's a rookie kicker, and kickers don't always come in and make a smooth transition, but at the same time they do, which is why it's a year-to-year thing, right? Kickers are easy to come by. In that sense, I think, which is why 50-50. I think you have the youth there with Ryan Fitzgerald. He's a very good kicker out of Florida State. Then you have Matthew Wright, who's been in the league for 4 years and has an 80% field goal percentage at this point with 55 out of 63. So the argument for both players are there. It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm not a very big kicker guy. I don't care. But I think for the Panther fan base, this is going to be a big position battle. It's one of the only 2 really duo position battles because obviously quarterback, there's no battle there. Running back, there's no battle there. Obviously, you can say excited about Rico Dowdle to watch him, but we know how good they're going to be this year. We don't need to see training camp to know that running back duo is going to be one of the best in the NFL. So these are the only really 1-2 kind of neck and neck 50-50 battles that we have in camp. And those are my biggest storylines, man. 6 of them. I'm very excited about camp. I think all of these are going to be big watches for me. Obviously, the rookies, the edge position, the cornerback room, and obviously those two battles that I mentioned with center and kicker. So if you guys enjoy this video, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, because I'm going to be dropping consistent content for you guys all of training camp, the week and a half, 2 weeks that we have of it. And then we're heading into preseason, and then we have the season, man. It's insane to think about. We're literally right there from the start of the season. And this is we say it every year. Last year we say this. I'm more excited than I ever been. Year 2 Bryce, year 3 Bryce. I just want to let y'all know, be excited with caution, because we can be let down in a heartbeat by this team, and we've seen it every year. So be excited with caution, because you guys can be let down quickly, as we saw last year, as we saw in 2023. It's easy to be let down by this team, and we have to see it first. I want to see it first. The first 4 games are going to be a big kind of breaker for me in terms of if we're going to be a good team or not this year. But I'm excited nonetheless about getting this started and just getting the season started, man. It's been forever. It seems like the off seasons are so long, and we're right there. So, with all that being said, I'll see you guys on Monday after the first day of camp when rookies report. And then Tuesday will be the bigger day, because you actually got, Bryce and T-Mac connection there. But I'm going to see you guys every day at training camp, and subscribe for me. Peace.